everyone, and welcome to the UIC United Faculty YouTube channel. My name is Becky Bonarek, and I'm a lecturer in the UIC Tutorium, as well as the chair of the union's communication committee, and I'm also on the bargaining team. Today's video is an introduction to bargaining for folks who haven't attended a session before, or for those who might have attended in the past and need a quick brush up on what to expect. Today we're going to be talking about some definitions that you might hear at or around the table, as well as what to expect during bargaining, including the process at the table and behavior of folks in the room. But first, if you've got questions along the way, please pop them in the comments below so we can answer them in a later video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get bargaining updates. And if you're a UICUF member, remember to check your non-UIC email for bargaining information. First, we're going to talk about definitions of terms that you might hear at the bargaining table or in discourse about the bargaining table. Our first definition is management. This is the entity that we're bargaining with. This includes both administrators from around campus, but also a representative from labor relations. That's why we can't just say admin or administrators. There are more people on the management team than just those executive officers. Second, we have counterproposal versus a response. So we're trying to make a distinction between a counterproposal and response, and counterproposals are what management passes. They are management's counterproposals to our proposals, whereas responses are UICUF's responses to management's counterproposals. Basically, if it's a counterproposal, it's coming from management. If it's a response, it's coming from us. Next up, we have pass. So a pass is when a contract proposal or proposed article changes hands. From example, from our bargaining team to management, that is considered one pass. Next up, we have in someone's court. So this means who has possession of the article in question. So, for example, if a given proposal is in our court, that means that we are working on revisions. Then it would pass to management, and then that article, that proposal would be in management's court. Next up, we have caucus. You'll hear this a lot if you do attend bargaining. A caucus is when both parties adjourned into separate rooms to talk amongst themselves for a previously agreed upon length of time. So management usually leaves the room and goes into a separate room, and we stay in our room, and we can let down our hair a bit and discuss like we would amongst ourselves without having to watch our words as much as we would if we were in active bargaining at the table. Next, we have mandatory subjects of bargaining. These are determined by the National Labor Relations Board, and there are just 3 of them: wages, hours, and working conditions. Now, wages and hours are pretty self-explanatory, but working conditions are broadly defined for a reason. Different unions cover members with different working conditions. So our working conditions are going to be different than, say, the auto workers. So our working conditions, we get to decide what those are. And that's actually a subject of bargaining. In the previous cycle, we argued that student mental health resources are a mandatory subject of bargaining because our students' learning conditions are our working conditions. So we can see how the definition of working conditions between management and us can differ. The next definition that we're going to go over is permissive bargaining. And this is not the opposite, but in conjunction with mandatory subjects of bargaining. Permissive subjects of bargaining are any subjects that do not fall under mandatory subjects of bargaining. So bargaining on these topics can only occur if both parties agree to bargain over them. Again, student mental health resources from the previous contract. Management argued that this was a permissive subject of bargaining because They didn't believe that our student learning conditions were our working conditions, but that is our argument, that what affects students affects us in the classrooms. The only thing is that we cannot legally strike based on permissive subjects of bargaining. So if, say, we had another disagreement on anything that affects our students, we would not be able to go on strike based only on that disagreement. It would have to be in conjunction with another working condition subject or wages or hours. Next, we have status quo. This is, you might already know what this means, but in terms of bargaining, it means what already exists in the current contract. No changes. This is typically what a management team will argue for, no changes to the current contract. And we see that in this bargaining cycle as well. Finally, we have to TA or tentatively agree to something. So this is when both parties agree to the written terms of the article. It's considered no longer on the table, but can be reopened for discussion under extenuating circumstances. These articles are considered not final until the contract is signed. Now on to what to expect when you attend bargaining. So, especially if you haven't been to a bargaining session before, it can seem a little weird, and honestly, a little boring at times. But once you know what to expect, it makes the process more exciting and you just feel more engaged, and you know what to expect. So first, we're going to talk about what happens at the table, the process. So, unique to this contract cycle, we have decided that if management does not return counter proposals, at least 48 hours before a given session, we have reserved the right to start with a 15-minute caucus to discuss reactions to the most recent counter proposals. So if they send them late, we will have time to talk about them in caucus. We have asked that they send counter proposals at least 48 hours in advance. We have asked this on multiple occasions so that we can be prepared and make sure that there is nothing nefarious happening, whether intentionally or not. It can get a little confusing passing counter proposals back and forth. So we need those 15 minutes to caucus with our team, with all of you, to make sure that everything is on the up and up and to get questions together to ask when they present their counter proposals. Speaking of, our bargaining team usually sets an agenda for each session that we don't share with management. It's for us only. But we adjust to management's tactics and whether and what counter proposals management has sent. But there are three typical options for how a session will start. So one option could be management presents their counter proposals. Another option would be that UICUF presents their responses to management's counter proposals, or UICUF asks questions about management counter proposals. So talking, either management is presenting, UICUF is presenting, or we are asking questions about the counter proposals. After that opening bit, which can be anywhere between 20 minutes and an hour, session content can vary. If the bargaining team feels so inclined, sometimes we'll make a prepared statement on a topic that is appropriate. There is usually one caucus per bargaining session where each team goes into their separate rooms again to discuss amongst themselves. And again, in our case, management leaves the bargaining room to caucus in a separate room. And we set aside this time for the bargaining team to react, ask questions, make comments, strategize. But attending members are free to participate as well. So you can also ask questions, make comments, react. But during more active or longer bargaining sessions, caucuses are used by the bargaining team to revise contract proposals. For example, in the previous contract cycle, some bargaining sessions could be 3 or 4 hours long, and we would take a longer caucus to take what management has sent and revise during that time. The next topic we want to talk about when you attend bargaining is member behavior at bargaining. So when you attend bargaining, the audience in the gallery should maintain a professional demeanor. So what this means is while both parties are in the room, there should be no talking, side conversations, distracting noises, comments, questions from anyone not at the bargaining table. We'd like you to save those for caucus when the management team is in their own room, separate from ours, and we can all express what and how we need to without management being in the room. And if there's not enough time to address your comment or question, of course, feel free to reach out to a staff organizer, member of the bargaining team, your contract action team member, or of course, your UICUF department representative. All of this comes with an asterisk, a little caveat that I'll explain in a second. But very importantly, what strikes many folks first when they first begin attending bargaining sessions is actually the behavior of management. Most faculty are used to collegial behavior, but at the table, management takes an antagonistic tone, which is very surprising at first. It's very striking. And it's partially a role that they play, or even their job, some management may believe. But overall, the antagonism is a strategy. They want us to focus on how angry they make us instead of the substance of the conversation. It's a distraction. The bargaining committee's job is to reach through that antagonism and focus on what's relevant. While your face can say what you really think, please contain vocal expressions of true feelings during caucus. And again, wait until management is out of the room to talk. Now that caveat, there may be times when the contract action team or contract organizing committee call for direct or disruptive actions during bargaining sessions. And this can include hissing, booing, exclamations of anger, but these should be organized in order to be effective. So please abide by the guidelines the CATS or the Contract Organizing Committee establish as they are informed by bargaining etiquette. We want these outbursts to be effective and to be managed. So please refer to them for any direct or disruptive actions during an actual bargaining session. That doesn't usually take place until further into the process, but again, refer to them for guidelines. Lastly, something that is very important, especially if you have not attended bargaining before and get really excited about what's happening, please no audio or video recording of bargaining sessions. This is for both sides. To maintain the open nature of bargaining, do not quote either side with specific attribution. When writing about bargaining proceedings, you can use, again, management or UICUF to refer to us, or our bargaining team or we, instead of naming specific people from either side. Again, that's to maintain the open nature of bargaining. I hope that helps you get up to speed with what to expect at the bargaining table, clarify some definitions that can definitely be a little confusing if you're not steeped in this every day. Again, if you have any further questions or comments, go ahead, please leave them down below in the comment section or reach out directly to a UICUF staff organizer or your rep. Hope this was helpful and hope to see you in the next one. Bye.